In this video, we're going to do a few more examples of problems that involve summation notation. So remember that when we're doing these problems, we're going from the bottom number to the top number and plugging in every number in between those two numbers. So for this first one, we are plugging in 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for this one, you can model your solution after this example here, where you write it out horizontally. I usually prefer to write it out vertically because I think it better helps me to keep track of what's going on. You can do whatever works best for you. So I'm going to start by plugging in 4. And I'm plugging in 5, 6, and 7. And each one I'm plugging into 2k minus 3. So I multiply the number by 2 and then subtract 3 from that. So when I plug in 4, I get 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. Plug in 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Plug in 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. And when I plug in 7, 2 times 7 is 14. Minus 3 is 11. And then finally, I'm going to add those four numbers together. 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11. And when I do that, I get 20 plus 12, which is 32. So that's my answer. For number 2, now this is a little bit different because I'm plugging in for the exponent here. Notice that k is the power on negative 2. So I'm going to plug in, starting with 0, negative 2 to the 0 power. And I'm going to use copy and paste here, which is just a little shortcut to help me not have to type so much in. So we're plugging in 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, when you do this, you can use a calculator to help you. You don't necessarily have to do these mentally. Remember that any number to the 0 power is 1. Negative 2 to the first is negative 2. Any number to the first power is itself. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. If you're doing this on a calculator, make sure that you are including the parentheses with what you type in. Otherwise, what the calculator is going to do is it's going to do 2 squared and then put a negative sign on it. What you want to do here is negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. And then negative 2 to the third power, you should get negative 8. You can take your previous answer and multiply it by negative 2 to get the next answer, because you're increasing the number of factors of negative 2 by 1. And then finally, negative 2 to the fourth, I should get positive 16. So now I'm going to add those numbers together. 1 plus negative 2 plus 4 plus negative 8 plus 16. Use a calculator if you need to. I can see that 16 plus negative 8 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Minus 2 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. So 11 is my answer. Let's look at number 3. Here we are plugging into the power again, but this time we have a fraction. So this is 1 over 10 to the k power. I'm going to copy this and paste it, again, just to make it easier for myself. So 1 over 10 to the k, and we are plugging in the numbers from 0 to 3. So we're plugging in 0, and when I do that, I'm going to use my equation menu here. However you want to type this on your computer is fine. This is going to be 1 over 10 to the 0, which is 1, 1 over 1, which is 1. So now we are plugging in 1 for k. And that's going to give us 1 over 10. 10 to the first is 10. Plugging in 2 gives us 1 over 100. And finally, plugging in 3 gives us 1 over 10 to the third, which is 1,000. So what are we adding all together here? 1 plus 1/10 plus 1/100 plus 1,000. And if you type this in on your calculator, you can get a decimal answer. If I want to keep this in fraction form, then I need a common denominator here, which is going to be 1,000. So we have 1,000 thousandths, which is 1. We have 1/10, which is 100 over 1,000. Multiply top and bottom by 100. 1 over 100 is 10 over 1,000. Multiply top and bottom by 10 and 1,000. I know this is a little hard to look at with all of the zeros. So this is 1,100 plus 10 plus 1, 1,111 divided by 1,000, or as a decimal, 1.111. Finally, number 4. Number 4 is similar to number 3 in that we are plugging in a power into a denominator of a fraction. This time we are plugging in numbers from 1 to 4. So I'm starting with plugging in 1. So that's going to be 1 over 2. 2 to the first is 2. And then we need to do that for 2, 3, and 4. So 1 over 2 squared, which is 4. 1 over 2 to the third, which is 8. And 1 over 2 to the fourth, which is 16. Add them all together. 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/16. Get a common denominator of 16. So you'll notice here the common denominator part isn't too bad because we are multiplying by the same factor each time that we increase. So that makes it a little bit easier. 8/16 multiply top and bottom by 8. 1/4 multiply top and bottom by 4. 1/8 multiply the top and bottom by 2, and then we have the 1/16. So we have a total of 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1/16, or 12, 14, 15/16, and that is my final answer for that problem.